To webinar 2 of the MethodGrid User Symposium 2021. In this webinar, we're going to do a quick review of the feature highlights from 2021. Quick bit of housekeeping, we are recording this webinar. I've just started it. I'm joined by Rachel, our Customer Success Manager. Hello, Rachel.
Hello.
I'm Jody, Head of Product here at MethodGrids, and we're going to take you through all the really key features from 2021. And kind of show you a little bit how they interact with each other and how to get the best out of your account. Before that, we have got a number of webinars coming up this week as part of the User Symposium. If you've missed them, they will be available on demand. You can rewatch the video. You can sign up for any of these at methodgrid.com/webinars. So tomorrow we have a consulting company called Future Shift showing us how they use MethodGrid to take their clients through the B Corps certification. Then we have Don Morehouse and Bruce from MGI Learning taking us through their recent MethodGrid implementation, and Rachel will be on that one as well. Then we have Step 5 Group, a large technical transformation consultancy, will show us how they've been building out MethodGrid to assure and deliver their large-scale transformational projects. Then it'll be back with me on the 24th at 4 p.m. And we'll have a look through the 2022 product roadmap plan. As part of that, we do have a user survey. I'm just going to post it in the chat. So if you haven't had a chance to fill this in, please do. We'll go through the results of that survey in that webinar on the 24th at 4 p.m. Then on the 25th, we've got a special webinar for a company called EcoSulis, who are specialists in rewilding in relation to construction engineering products. And then Don Morehouse and one of our senior developers will go through the future of project assurance in terms of machine learning, AI, blockchain, and how we can use that for lessons learned in projects. As we go through the features, you are able to post questions. I'm just going to put the link to the tool that you can do that in the chat here. So if you follow that link, you'll see a screen there and you can post questions in there. And at the end of each section, we'll just review those questions and we'll hopefully answer them for you. So as we go through, we've split this into two parts. The first Rachel's going to take care of, part one, mostly around new features relating to folders, grids, elements and tasks. And then I'll take part two and I'll take you through some improvements in the search, notifications, dashboards, and activity logging. And at the end of each section, we'll go through any questions you've got. So as Rachel's going through the demo, if you see anything you're not sure of, got a question about it, follow that link and post a question in there. And there you go. Over to you, Rachel, if you want to take over the screen.
Perfect, yes. So the first part of our demo is looking at folder cloning. So as many of you probably know, we can clone grids and elements, but actually at the higher level, we can also clone whole folders. A great feature with this is that when you clone a folder, the links that you have in place to certain grids or certain elements will also remain for you. So I'm in our methodology folder currently. So to clone this folder, we just pop to our little more button at the top here, and you can see we have the clone folder option. So all we need to do to clone it is hit the little tick button there. Now I've actually already cloned one previously, just because of the amount of content that I've got in my grids. They can actually take a little while to clone. When I say a little while, less than a minute, but I didn't want to sit here with a loading screen for you. So when the folder is cloned, you'll see at the bottom of the list here, I've got a clone methodology here. So in my first one, if I click into our grid and into this element, I actually have a link through to another grid. So if I click that link there, it will take me through to that grid. So if I pop back into my new cloned folder, you will see that this behavior has actually been replicated. So if I open up that same element, we have the link through to that grid as well. So it just means that it makes usability of MethodGrid nice and easy for you. So if you have lots of projects that are similar frameworks, when you clone those folders out, they will all maintain those links in there. So the next section that we have is looking at how to print grids or save them down to your machine as a PDF. So from within the grid here, we can pop to this little PDF symbol, which opens up a flyout. And in here, you can select what you would like to have included in your PDF or your print. So you can select from all of the options within the grids, elements, stages, and themes. And then you just select Save As here, which will then give you your standard save and print options. So you can see it will include all of that content that you've selected on that previous flyout, and you can download it directly to your machine. So coming back into here, we get a little pop-up just to say, would you like to return to the grid now? So I'm going to select yes, and then that brings you back into the grid. So we've recently had an update on our text editor. So making sure that we're in build mode within the grid, we would open up the element that we're looking to edit, and then going into the free text content area, you can see we now have a brand new text editor here. So basically what this means is that you can have all of your standard features available to you now. So your bolds, italics, all of that sort of thing. You also have the option to go into full screen mode, so you can edit in the full screen rather than in the little content area. So you can now add bullet points, you can add colors in, you can add strikeouts, all of those are available to you now. And coming out of full screen mode is as easy as just clicking the same button there. So we also have had a new files upload area added. So if we click to add a new content area, files area here, and you can see we now have some wonderful integrations with the common document management systems. So we can now directly link through to Google Drive, OneDrive or SharePoint, Dropbox and Box. And basically what that means is when you click into your DMS here, it directly takes you through to your documents. So you can just pick your documents up from here and insert them into MethodGrid. The other great thing about this feature is that when you update your documents within your SharePoint, Google Drive, etc., it will actually update within MethodGrid for you as well, as long as that link name remains the same. So it just means you don't have to go through into your DMS, update the document, and then come back into MethodGrid and update it there. It will all happen automatically for you. So that's nice and helpful as well. You can, of course, still upload files directly from your machine, or you can use a link to a file as well. So we have some new things on tasks as well. So if we create a content area for our checklist or tasks area, we can then actually import tasks in bulk. So if we click into import and select a CSV file, I have one here, and we open that up, you can see that's then populated all of those tasks for you. So you don't actually have to come in and update the tasks individually. You can bulk upload them from Excel. You also have the option to add existing tasks. So if you've already created a list of tasks in another element, you can go and pick those up here. So if you select the list that you would like to populate in this element, you can see they've all come through for you. So really nice and easy, great usability there. So the last feature that I have to show you, second to last, I should say, is the ability to add files to your tasks. So we have this little file symbol here. So basically what that means is when you click that, you can toggle on the need to have evidence. So when a user comes in to complete these tasks, they will have to upload a document to be able to tick the task off. So now that that's toggled on, let me show you how that looks when it's in live. So I will go to then tick the task off, and you can see that I have an error appear there. So basically what that means is I need to add a file in. So if I add a file directly into there, you can now see that you've got a file added by the big numbers here. So sitting in red, you can see that there's one file added, but we also have the new option to display the file as well. So if you toggle on the display, you can see that there's a file listed directly underneath that as well. So super easy to know that your user has actually added a file, and you can then tick the task off. So the last thing that I have to run you through is our prod hub. So behind your branding here, up in the top left, is basically your home screen. So basically what this is showing you all of the things that relate to you within your account. So they're split out into due today, due this week, overdue, and then no due date. So you can see I've got a couple due this week, which are based on grids. So they're interactive as well. So you can actually click through directly to whatever these relate to. So I have this grid as due this week. And then if we pop into my overdue, you'll see that it's tasks. So I have a bunch of overdue tasks that I need to get done. You can tick the tasks off directly from here as well, or you can click through again and it will take you directly to that specific task. So you can see here I've got an overdue task ready and waiting for me. There are also a couple of other features within Prod Hub. So you have your recent grids available to you. So if you just want to pop back to the grids that you've been working on recently, you absolutely can do that straight from here. You also have links to show all of your grids as well. So you can just pop straight through into them without having to go through the folders. And we also have a direct link to our community. Now, if you're not a member of our community, we really encourage you to join. It's super easy to do. So if you just click your little question mark symbol there, click on community, and that will take you straight through. And basically our community is somewhere that you can interact with us, interact with other users from different companies, and also you'll see all of our new features and updates coming through on the community as well. So back to you, Jody.
Thanks very much, Rachel. Let me just pop back to our presentation here so we can see if we've got any questions in there. Bear with while it loads. Okay, so just a reminder, I have put the link to this in the chat. So if you do have any questions about that section, just click on the Slido link and it'll take you off. I can see we've got one question from Anonymous, and it asks, is it possible to add tables in an element? I can pick that up because at the moment it's not, but it is a feature we're going to add. So Rachel showed you the element text editor. We are currently testing and working on a feature where you can create tables within that text editor, and you'll also be able to sort of copy and paste from Excel. It'll just display of data in a table. So the answer is yes. In an upcoming release, we will have that. I'll just hold on a sec in case anyone else wants to post another question on section 1, and then if not, I will move on to part 2 and show you the next set of new features we've released over the last 12 months. So I'm going to go through searching, in-app notifications, desktop notifications, the visual sort of MI dashboards, the general user dashboards with tables of data and how you can bookmark those, and our new and improved activity logging. So I'm just going to switch to share my screen now so I can do that. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to toggle to full screen. So hopefully now you can see Method Grid. Here I am in my productivity hub. So the first thing I'm going to show you is our new improved search, which we've worked on a lot actually in 2021. So in here, I'm essentially searching the entire account here. So if I was to search for the word project, for instance, it's going to whir away and give me the results. And you can see down here, it's showing me what it's showing. So it's showing me results from folders called projects, grids, elements, and tasks. Now, if I'm only looking for a specific thing, I can then untick these. So perhaps I'm only interested in grids and folders. I can untick those and it will remove those from the bottom. And if it's only folders I'm interested in, I can untick that. And then I would just click to follow. But by the same token, I can say, well, actually, I only want to look at grids. And now I've just got all the results of grids with the word project in the title. And I can do the same on elements. And obviously you kind of get more and more results depending on how you've named things, but then you can click through and go and see those. We also search within content areas and elements. So if I was to tick that, this is everywhere it's found the word project actually within the text of that element. So it's searching the text, not just the name of the element area. And you can also search by task. So whenever you search, you can kind of untick the things here. I can clear them all or select all as well. If you can't find things, you might find that sometimes they're set as a master grid. We don't include those by default, or archived grids, and you can just toggle that on and it will show you results for master grids. So there's some master grids called project just there. So I'm going to go ahead and search for just a grid. And I'm going to search for project 2, which I know is in here somewhere. So here is project 2. So that takes me straight to the grid, opens me up. I just want to show though, if I now go back to search, you'll see up in the search box, it says search in this grid. So once you're in a grid, the search recognizes this and it filters the search down to just search within this grid. So if I'm searching for scorecard in here, for instance, it's only returning me results from within this grid. So there's no grid results. I'm in a grid. So I've got 3 elements with the word scorecard in their title, and I've got a number of tasks. And again, here's the areas as well with that in. And I can simply go in to the one I want and it will open that element for me. So if you've got particularly large grids, you can search in there. If you're in a grid and you don't want to just search the grid, you just simply clear that. And now I'm back to searching the whole account, and I could just say, well, I just want grids or elements with scorecard in. And there we go. So hopefully you can see that, you know, when there's a lot of content in your account, there's lots of places that can search, but now you can toggle on and off where it is you want to actually search. A next major feature we've released is also in this toolbar on the left here. We've grouped and categorized in-app notifications. So when you see the number here, you can see I've got a lot. This is showing me how many unread notifications I've got. But to make this a little easier for everyone, we've got categories of notifications. So scheduled shows me everyone who's added a due date on an element that I'm assigned to, and I can review those and I can dismiss them, mark them as read, or I can click on this arrow here and it will actually open up that particular one. And you can see assigned will show me anything where I've been assigned. So you can see Rachel just assigned me to task first interview, and I'm just going to get notifications of those each time. Now, if you've got a lot in there and you want to clear them all, you've got a button up here, mark all scheduled as read. When I click that, it's going to mark those all as read. Now it's marked them as read, it's not deleted them. So if I ever want to go and see a notification that perhaps I want to go and revisit and wasn't sure if I saw it, I can go into read, and I'm now looking at the read ones in each section, and then I can come back to unread again. So again, I could clear all the assigned if I wanted to. Comments have 2 sections. So if you're mentioned in a comment, it will appear here. And again, just clicking on the arrow is going to open up that comment. If someone comments on a grid or an element to which you have at least view access, you'll also get a notification of that, so you can keep up with the conversation even if you're not mentioned in it. And again, you can go here and you can mark these all as read, and it will clear those as well. If you just want to clear everything, you can go into everything and clear everything there. So as well as these in-app notifications, which you'll get notified of by the numbers here, you've got your own notification setting area. This sends out email notifications, and you can turn these on and off and decide what you want. But the feature we've released is browser notifications. So when it's not enabled, you'll have a button here that says enable browser notifications, and it will pop up and ask you to allow it. And what that means is these notifications appearing here will then start to come into your Windows notification area or your Mac notification area. Now I've put an example, it's a screenshot in project 1. Let me just find that. You can see what these look like. So in here, I've got a little screenshot of how this would look. So once you've enabled desktop notifications, they come in like all notifications in Windows down the right-hand side. And there you can see that's the comment that my colleague Rosie added. And it's just coming down here. They'll pop out the side just like the normal Windows one in Windows 10. And it's just being generated by the browser. And clicking that button means you've allowed MethodGrid to post those in. So as long as your browser's open, you're in MethodGrid, you'll get notifications straight onto your desktop. The next thing I'd like to do is our MI dashboard. So we have a number of dashboards in the app. You can see your tasks, your elements, your grids, and then here is the main dashboard. So in here, we can see each grid can have a status set to it, a RAG status, so red, amber, green, and then a status for when it's completed. And I can see here how many grids I have on each. Previous 12-week trend is showing you the change in that. So how many you completed in week commencing the 15th, how many have completed in the 22nd, how many were in red, and you can start to monitor the change of those statuses over time. Down here we have my grids. So these are the grids that are actually assigned to me. So I've got 13 open, 8 currently overdue, due this week and flagged. An important note here is you'll see that I'm getting a little hand symbol on each of these. So if I want to actually go and look, which one's due this week or which one's flagged, if I click on that, it's taken me straight to my grids dashboard and it's filtered it straight down to what I was looking at. So these are the grids. I'm the owner. They've all been flagged. And every single one of those circles in the dashboard, that's how that works. From a management point of view, as long as I've got view access to all the grids, I can see what's going on in every project. So if each grid is a project, I can see I've got 64 open, 23 overdue and 1 due this week, 7 flagged. And that will do the same thing. If I click on it, I can see which ones are overdue, who the owner is, and when they were due. Now this follows on down. So it's a similar report for each one. These are my elements. And then we also have a look forward, so I can see how many elements I've got due falling in the coming weeks. So next week I've got 1 element due. Again, if I click on it, it will show me that element, and I can click through to the element in the grid as well. Same thing with tasks. Open, look forward to my tasks in the coming weeks. And then we have, for the management overview, all elements and all elements look forward, and all tasks and all tasks look forward. And again, I can go and look at all the tasks that are overdue in the tasks dashboard here. So each time I click on one of those links, it's taking me through to the appropriate dashboard here. Once you're in these dashboards, we've actually added a new feature where you can bookmark filters that you set. So in my grids dashboard, I can come in, it's defaulted to show me my grids. And if you ever want to get rid of a filter, you can click the X next to it. And now I'm looking at all grids. Up here, top right, I've got bookmarks of filters. So we provide a few common ones. So you might want to see your flagged grids, for instance, or I might want to see my overdue grids if I've got any. And there we go, that goes straight to those. I can clear and go back to the default. Now, if I want to create my own bookmark filter, all I do is I apply some filters. So for instance, if I'm interested in seeing my colleague Rosie's grids, I can just say, I just want to see the grids where Rosie is the owner. And there we go. I can then save that as a bookmark. I click here, enter up there. I can call it whatever I want, Rosie's grids or Rosie's projects. Hit enter, and that's now saved. So if I was to clear that filter, if I want to go straight back to it now, I've got a bookmark straight to it, Rosie's grids, and that's straight there. And you can build these up as many as you want. And then once they're created, you can delete them. You can change the order if you wish. You can edit the name and then just click the arrow to apply them. So that is available in the grids dashboard, the elements dashboard, and it works just the same way, and the tasks dashboard. And then finally, within this dashboard area, we've got a activity log. So the activity log is redesigned as the fallback in terms of project assurance. And in there, we've now put in pretty much every activity that your users can do in MethodGrid. And you can see when it was done, who did it, on what assets it was done on. So architects, the super admins of the account, will have access to this global tab here called activity. Now in here, this is showing me everything that everyone is doing in the account. So you can see, I can see Rachel applying stage, removing an assignee, assigning a stage to me, all the way through here. And again, you can filter these, and we also have categories of filters. So if I just wanted to see the assign type activities, I can select that. You can also filter it by grids and folders. So if you've just got a project, you just want to see a project, you just want to see the activity on a certain project, maybe project 5. That's now just showing me the activity from that. And wherever you see these logs, these particular dashboards and tables, you can always so once you've filtered it, you can download that filtered view as a CSV file if you want to do more analysis on it. And you can print it as well if you want. Importantly, though, the activity log doesn't just exist here. So this is for your super admins. Anyone who needs complete overview visibility of the account, they can see everything in activity. Your users, though, if they've got view access to a project, so for instance, project 5, I can click on that and it will take me through there. The activity log is also at the grid level. It's up here in the info button. If I click on info, hover over these, it tells you what they do. This is the activity log for this grid. So it's like looking at the global one, but it's filtered down to just the activity within this grid. It starts off like this. If you want to maximize it so you can work on it in full screen, you just click this toggle button here and it will come up in full screen. And now I can see all the activities on here. So just to show you one of these filters, if I clear this, maybe I just want to see who's been assigned to things in here. I can see that I assigned it to me, I assigned it to Susie, and it's going to track all the various different activity types you can see here. Access being provided, anything was archived, assigned, any comments that come in, tasks being completed and uncompleted, elements being created, deleted, elements being flagged, elements being edited, anything being scheduled, so due dates being set, any kind of status change in terms of the RAG status, and also just generally who's been viewing elements within here. So as well as that, you can clear these filters up here again. I just removed the filter and I'm right back to her. And again, you can filter it by element as well. So if I just want to see this element, for instance, I can come in there, I can see there's no activity on that element. As well as the grid level, there's also an element level activity log. So it works in the same way. It's in the info, hit activity, and it's going to load me all the activity that's taken place on this specific element. So I can see when it was last viewed and who viewed it, but it will show every activity in there. And again, you can print and export these to CSVs as well. So hopefully you can see, if you want to go and see what's going on in a project, who's viewing, who's completing tasks, doing everything, you can come straight into the activity log, and so can your users, and they can view everything in there. So let me come back, bring up that presentation again for us, and we can see if we've got any questions on this. Let me just share that presentation again, remind you where that URL is, where you can post questions. So we've been through those new features. If you do have a question, I put this link in the chat as well. Follow that there and you can ask a question. You see if anything's come in here. So there's one come in, interesting question. So the question is it possible to search within the actual content of files uploaded into Elements? Okay, it's a good question. So in the search I showed you, when you're searching there, it will search for like an element title, and it will also search for the content within the element. So if there's text in those element areas, it will search for that. At this time, it doesn't search within a file, but it is something we are actively looking into. And it's an interesting question. And if you want to know more about it, then we've got another webinar running on this Thursday, 25th of November at 4 p.m, where our colleagues Don Morehouse and Mark North, who's one of our senior developers, are going to look at kind of the future of assurance and how machine learning can help with that. And one of the key points of that is, would users be happy for a machine learning bot or method grid bot to have access to your files? Because one of the key things, if we're going to search for content in files, is that the machine learning bot, the search bot itself, would need access to the text within the files in order to return a result. So we'll be asking questions like that in the next webinar on the 25th. So I would encourage you to join that. I'll just leave this open for a little while longer in case there's any more questions in terms of some of those new features. So if you do have one, please just post it in there. And if not, we will bid you farewell. So this recording will be available on our webinars page. Go and check out those upcoming webinars. It's on methodgrid.com/webinars. But for now, it's goodbye from me and Rachel.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks all. Bye for now.